Hey Jan, how you doing?
Good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. And everybody out there in YouTube land, welcome to Jan and Jeff number 30.
Hello. Oh, is that it? 30.
We're 30 again.
Okay. So, what have you been doing? It was a beautiful weekend weather-wise. Did you have nice weather up there?
The weather was so-so. We had a lot of fog. Where I live is there's kind
Um,
of we're in a valley type. We're in a valley.
okay.
But the mountains are not. The mountains are really nice. But we had a Saturday was pretty foggy, but that was good because for the first time probably in 40 years, I went trick or treating.
Oh my God. Oh, how much fun.
Trick or treating, I couldn't, but we went trick or treat, and people
Yeah.
actually gave us candy.
Okay. Very good. So it was worth going trick-or-treating.
It was worth going trick or treating, and it was worth it. I didn't actually go. I was with some children. My son, who's 14, he's a bit old for it, but he got some. He got some goods, some candy.
Good,
We
good
went to
candy.
a couple places. There was a couple places we saw some people that we kind of got a bad vibe, so we didn't stop there.
Yeah.
But we stopped at a couple places, and the people were really nice. They
Yeah.
had candy ready, and there was one they had pumpkins and stuff, and they talked about their pumpkins and stuff. And
Oh,
I was really surprised.
wow.
Then when we came back, because we're living in France here, of course, and we come back and it was dark by that time, so we started kind of having dinner, but it wasn't. It was kind of an aperitif type dinner, so you eat a little bit of this stuff. And some kids came, and like it was by the time it was 8:30, 9 o'clock, they came for some candy. Somebody
Wow. That's
came to our where we. It's not where I live; it's a friend's house,
right.
and they came for some candy. And then when we were driving home, we saw some kids like at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know if they were going house to house or they were coming home from a party, but
Yeah.
they could be they could have been trick or treating too.
Wow. Well, it's interesting. Halloween here, I mean, over 30 years ago, I hate to keep saying that, but it's true. My kid was little. He was like a year or two old, and I had a radio show. And I had a lot of people calling in saying, we want to know about Halloween. Will you help us do Halloween? And, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I bought a pumpkin and carved it, but it's not the easy carvable pumpkins that we get in the States. They're, the skin is really, really thick. They're just not easy to carve, and they're not as orange. But anyway, so that said and done, that was that. And then, years later, Halloween kind of, because they talk about it on the news here, so the French wanted to do Halloween. Well, they actually do celebrate the end of October, beginning of November, because November 1st for them is all about spirits, and they go to the graveyard and celebrate the dead, and this and that. So it's all kind of connected. They just do it differently than Ireland's the one where it started, and turned it into kind of a commercial thing for us in the States, where we
Yeah,
dress up and whatnot. But anyway, getting back to that, I dressed up because I was at work. But what I noticed this year was I kept asking all of my clients, at the store where I work, all the kids, are you going to dress up for Halloween? And a lot of people told me that, oh, they did kind of Halloween and they're not doing it this year, or, it kind of died out. I think it got real commercial and big. Not everybody played the game. They didn't really get that, all the kids would come around the neighborhood and get candy. Only some people played the game. And so I think it's kind of petered out a little.
yeah. It is where I live. One year, the town did a Halloween like celebration Halloween
Yeah,
party,
yeah,
and the kids were going around to all the stores on a Saturday. It was on a Saturday that
that's it.
time,
Yeah, yeah,
and they were asking for candy. So
yeah. They go to the stores. Yeah.
they were in the stores, and they were kind of. I don't think they were kind of being a bit. There were signs that said "Pas de Halloween," "Pas de,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
Halloween."
We're not doing Halloween. Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
this is interesting because this was mostly French. I mean, there were the couple leading it was American and French, but they had some. Everybody else was really they were French, and they did it. And everybody we went to was French,
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
more the traditional trick or treating that I remember, as opposed to what I, what I
yeah.
saw like 5 years ago, where you're going to the store and give me candy, and that was
Yeah, yeah, that they didn't get, that it's a neighborhood thing, that it's a,
exactly.
right. It was like they would just go to the stores and get candy. They couldn't imagine going to a private home and asking for candy. So I don't know. I don't know. I know that there was a period where a lot of young people would go to the nightclubs and they'd celebrate Halloween, and it was kind of, this adult party thing. But it looks like it's petered out. Coming back to the pumpkin, because you said you carved some.
Yeah.
Food has become so international, and we're going to talk a bit more about it right after this. But I've noticed that, even around Thanksgiving, sweet potatoes. I start finding sweet potatoes here in all the markets, and they're imported from the U.S. Well, we've always been able to find a few sweet potatoes, but it never said, imported from USA, or I was never able to say it was around Thanksgiving. But potate douce, some of the markets, you could always kind of find them, but they weren't that big. Whereas now you can get, you go in and there's a whole end cap of.
And actually, where I live, they're actually made. They actually grow them here.
Oh, do they? Do they? Well, I've only seen some in my local market that says imported from the U.S. But what I'm coming back to the pumpkin thing is that what they didn't import when they imported Halloween, and now we see all the little tiny squashes and whatnot.
Right.
But we never got the big orange pumpkin that was easy to carve. We don't see those. We don't see the real big orange pumpkins. We get big round pumpkins, because you even said you grow them, but they're kind of a pale oranger, and the skin is really, really thick to carve.
Yeah, it might be. When next time I go back to America, I'll try to get seeds for that type of Halloween pumpkin to see if it.
Yeah, that would be the thing to do. Yeah, because the pumpkins here are just way too thick to carve. But you know what? The pumpkins here, we use the inside for pumpkin soup.
Yeah, no, I think they're a little bit more tasty. They might be.
Right. Well, there's so much inside of them, but the pumpkins in the States have a really thin skin. There's not much you could make pumpkin soup out of.
I think I have the ones you're talking about. I have one. Okay. What happens is it grows green, and then it changes to orange, and the skin is very thin.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you do.
I think that might be, and I always keep the seeds because they grow so easy. But this year they were still half green, so I don't know why. But anyway, I keep the seeds. But I'll go back, and I think that those originally came from America. But I will try to see.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, you can show us one. But so I never try and carve a pumpkin here because they're just too hard. But anyway, I did want to tell you, because we are going to, in January, like I say, I'm trying to put together something that I can't talk about yet, but that's going to involve a lot more food. But we had lunch at some friend's house, some Dutch friend's house down here, that bought the big bed and breakfast that we were running. And one of them really likes to cook. And we went down, they invited us for lunch because it was one of their birthdays. Anyway, they made a hashish parmentier au confit de canard. So backing up, hashish parmentier is just basically mashed potatoes on ground beef.
It sounds like I thought you did some other type of hashish.
No. In fact, we did laugh about smoking hashish. You have to. But the plate hashish parmentier here in France is kind of equal to our meatloaf. It's kind of a low-cost, easy meal to put on the table that fills you up. And but they did this with the confit de canard, which is duck confit, which is kind of it was just fabulous. I have not tasted anything so refined in a long time. And she's going to give me the recipe because it wasn't heavy. Sometimes mashed potatoes can get heavy. There was just and they were served in individual bowls. There was just a light layer of really whipped light mashed potatoes. And under that, you had in the duck fat you know, really tender, kind of the stringy part of the magret of the duck. And there was little tiny pieces of chive and a few little peas. And it was just, it was out of this world. It was
You didn't
just
take a
so,
photo.
oh my gosh. Well, it was, the flavor was so refined. It wasn't too rich and it wasn't too heavy. And that's what's hard to do with potatoes and confit and duck fat and all that. So I'm going to get that recipe and I will get some pictures because it was really that would be a fun dish to make.
That would be
and
a fun dish to make.
yeah, and then they gave us I just put them away. They gave us some homemade, and this is a recipe I'll get it to you for Christmas because people might want to make this. They were homemade spickaloos.
What's that?
Yeah, spickaloos. I don't know if you can get spickaloos in the States. I think you can. A spickaloo it's a brown sugar cookie. It's not a molasses cookie, but it's a brown sugar cookie. And we do get them here in France. I think Lotus is the brand that makes spickaloos. And we got them in the States when I was little. They're typically Dutch, actually. Originally, they're Dutch. And I remember being little, and in the States, they were a brown sugar cookie about this big, but it was a little house with a windmill on it.
Ah.
You don't remember getting those when you were little?
No.
Anyway, they're a brown sugar cookie. But so they gave us some homemade spickaloos, and these would be a great Christmas cookie because they're more than just a brown sugar cookie. She's got a spice in there that I'm not quite sure what it is, but same thing as the same person that made the hashish parmentier made these spickaloos, and they'd just be a great Christmas cookie because they just have they were just perfectly spiced.
Good. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to get that recipe to you for the holidays.
Good.
And we're going to have to start talking a little bit more about getting different recipes on. I've got quite a few people here, French people, that have given me some really fun recipes with different cuts of meat that we can talk about, you know, one of these days, but that people in the States might want to make because they're a good winter dish.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm getting all these kind of local fun recipes. In fact, I've got one woman that makes pickles.
Now I want the pickle recipe because I grew pickles and they
Okay.
were I grew them and they were fine, but I didn't know how to prepare them.
Right. I wouldn't know how to do it either. But so I will get you the pickle recipe. It's not quite the season now, but
yeah, pickles are easy to grow too.
Yeah. Oh, they are. They just grow like zucchinis. In fact,
they grow like weeds.
The darling American couple that rented here, they went to plant zucchinis in our garden, but they messed up when they bought the seeds here, and they ended up growing pickles, you know, and we just had them all over the place. So anyway, have a great weekend or a great week. And I think we're going to try and get back onto Fridays.
We'll see if we can.
Now that the kids are back in school.
All right. Take it easy.
See you soon. Ciao. Bye.